Hey, it's Kevin. You know how they say whenever you have something to say but you don't know what to say, you should just let it out and speak from the heart? This episode of the Making Waves VO podcast, House Party, was recorded on Saturday night of VO Atlanta 2024. Drinks were had and this audio is sketch. Deal with it.
Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
Oh, aren't you sweet? Here, hold on. Let me reach into my pocket. Here's a 20. Here's a 30. 40. Thank you.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
Recorded live in Atlanta. It's the Making Waves VO podcast House Party. Welcome to the Making Waves VO podcast, recorded live in Atlanta. Oh, it's Kevin Kilpatrick here.
And Bobby Maxwell.
And the Making Waves VO podcast is presented by Full Compass and FullCompass.com.
We know VO.
And we are here live, and we are talking with folks about the conference here that is the biggest in the land. All the cool voice actors are here, right, Bobby?
All the cool kids.
Yeah.
And it's a special night because it's wig night, and some people are dressed incognito. So, but yeah, it just keeps getting bigger every single year. It's now sellout, so it's just a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and we're going to get right to it. We're going to bring some guests up. Can we get Jeff Howell up here? Jeff, please have a seat right here. You're over here. You've got your own special mic over here.
I feel so special.
Can I describe Jeff right now? Jeff looks like Slash from Guns N' Roses minus the hat. So,
I don't know why people are reacting this way because I dress like this all the time.
oh, yeah. It's a typical Saturday for Jeff.
I thought it was a Slash section, not an X section.
Bobby, I'm going to let you commandeer the first question.
All right. How many VOs Atlantis have you been to?
I think this is my fifth one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what did you have going on this time?
What didn't I have? This was the heaviest load of classes.
Really?
I had 4X sessions. 2 of them were with CNN, Denise Paterno, who's wonderful, and she and I team teach. Then I did one individual with just coaching and running people through scripts for promo. And then I did one about more promo theory, more promo technique, and that sort of thing. So I did those, and then I had 2 breakouts on my own, and then I did 2 breakouts with Scott Brick.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
One about coaching and one about self-directing with Scott. And let's see, what else did I... Oh, I had 2 panels. I had a dubbing panel that I moderated, and then I was on the promo panel that Joe Cipriano moderated. So I just had a little bit going on.
Yeah, so you're having fun on a Saturday night.
Just a little bit. I let Bobby ask the softball question, Jeff. But, Jeff, I would like to talk to you about super sex. Can we talk about super sex for a minute?
I'd love to talk about super sex.
Yes. And we're not talking about prison. So let's talk about the new Netflix series. So Jeff is a So Jeff, tell us your role in the new Netflix series that has come out.
So I am affiliated with a production company that's very active in the dubbing world, and their biggest client, I believe, is Netflix, and I do a lot of work with them. And they approached me in the earlier part of this year, right? Well, actually, latter part of last year, and told me, we have a series that we think you're going to be perfect based on my series, The Naked Director 1.
Oh, okay.
So I said, okay, lay it on me. And so they told me, and it's a story it's actually based on a true story of a very popular, well-known porn actor in Italy who was known for the size of his member, but also he was...
was his name Tony Baloney?
His actual name was Rocco Siffredi.
Okay.
And
I read for that.
Scott Parkin chirping there.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, long story long, I did take the job.
No pun intended.
I didn't even know it.
I know, right?
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so anyway, I did the casting on it and directed it, and it was quite an experience. And we wrapped about 4 weeks ago, and it was right at the last minute because it dropped on Netflix this past Wednesday.
Love it.
And the reviews have been a little questionable, not on the dubbing, but it's on the content, because it is very controversial. It's supposedly the most graphic shows that ever has appeared on Netflix. So I suggest everyone go watch it.
Well, way to break down those walls.
Make sure that children are not in the room. But it was actually very well shot. Every actor I had in on it, when they saw the footage, they thought this looked amazing. They really spent a lot of money. Italy was so excited about it, and they actually were more in touch with the LA office more than usual, because they were really hoping that this would be a success.
Wow.
Hey, Jeff, what's the running time? How long is it?
Freaking parking.
It's the low-hanging fruit.
Oh, and again.
Oh my God.
It's a very long series. It's 7 episodes, but trust me, a lot longer.
Unless you had underwater scenes.
So we're going to get one of your co-conspirators on here. With Jessica Blue, could you come up here too, please? Jessica. We're going to get Scott Parkin next. Scott, you're up next. So Jessica was one of the actors, right?
She was.
So Jessica is big in the dubbing world. Jessica Blue from LA, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here we're talking.
Works blue.
I know, that's what. So tell us about your role in that series Jeff was just talking about.
I didn't. What did I do? Did I do anything in that role?
Now she's gonna.
I did.
This is my first time.
Okay, so for whatever reason, Jeff likes to typecast me, and for the bar floozy, the hooker, whatever. So he cast me as some chick that's getting banged by the main character. And so I got to do a sex scene.
That describes a lot of the women I hired for this project.
That was most of the extent. And I did give him a casting suggestion for one of the characters that he needed, so that was cool.
Yes,
so.
we as directors we share casting information, so it was very helpful.
Yeah.
Love that. So, Jessica, tell us about yourself. Tell us what you're doing in the voiceover world. You're doing dubbing for porn stuff, apparently. Netflix porn. So it's family-friendly porn, right?
Currently, I am a dubbing director for a lot of the same studios that Jeff works at, and I was an actor I am an actor.
You are an actor.
So I'm an actor, but I started acting like 20-something years ago.
Oh, wow.
And been doing that for a minute, and then I started working with dubs with Jeff, and started just foraying into adapting and directing, and just started taking over and taking the world over on that. So
Is this your first VO Atlanta?
it is.
That's because I've never met you before.
It's my first. I popped my cherry. This is the first one.
Did you present, or you're just?
I taught an X session on dubbing. I was on Jeff's moderated panel on dubbing. I was on another panel about hiring pros, and then I did a breakout on dubbing, and they were all fantastic.
Wow, very cool. Well, welcome.
What are you working on next?
TBD.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I love that. TBD.
Project that you're doing. So.
I do have a couple of pickups on the last show that I did. That's NDA, blah blah blah. But
Oh,
yes.
all those things. So, had a good time at VO Atlanta?
Fantastic. I was a little nervous because a lot of people, a lot of energy, and I definitely feed off energy and read people, and so I was a little nervous about coming in here and just being a little overwhelmed with just everything. And
Yeah.
But honestly, it has been one of the best experiences. It's been so great to meet so many awesome people, learned so much. I went to a bunch of different panels and learned a lot. Got to meet so many people. Okay, can I just tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
Back in COVID days, when Clubhouse became a thing, that was sort of a respite for a lot of voice actors, because that was sort of a place online where we could sort of meet up.
Yeah.
Of course, it was perfect for voice actors because everybody wants to do their voice and everything. So we had this voiceover group, a bunch of voiceover groups. So I met a bunch of people on Clubhouse who I've known since 2020. I've never met in person. I met from here.
Oh, wow.
It was fantastic, and it's like we've known each other for this long, but we've never met in person, face to face. So it was fantastic. So.
Wait, well, hopefully you can come back next year.
If they'll have me, I will be back.
Yeah. Jessica Blue, thank you so much. Can we get Scott Parkin? Over here?
Only if I can bring the more talented parking lot.
Where's that?
It's right there.
I'm here.
Okay.
She was on their porn movie.
Wait a minute, this is Miranda?
That's Miranda.
I I didn't. But the wig, I did not.
I was in there.
Oh my gosh. So Scott and Miranda Park, and my gosh, can we go to Comet Place? Where are we with Comet?
We had great meetings. Hey, you guys, Miranda's talking.
I'm going to talk. Listen to me talk.
So we had great meetings, and everything was going really quite swimmingly. And then there was a strike. I don't know if you heard.
Oh.
Little strike.
Two of them in a row, and I remember.
Yeah.
So I got kind of quiet. But last week, Swampy Marsh from Phineas and Ferb, sort of her mentor, one of my good buddies, got her in front. He was like, "We're tired of this bullshit." He took her to his agent, and they signed her across the board for animation, and said, "We love the comic. We're going to take it directly to streamers."
Wow.
Because what we have, we're learning, is a studio animatic, and they don't want to go here's half the money. We'll sell it to the streamer. They want to do their own animatic and then sell that. So whatever happens, it's been a giant thing. She has lots of interviews with giant animation companies, shortlisted for movies and all that stuff. It was great, but I really wanted to sell the motherfucker and get our friends work and hire all our friends.
Yeah.
That's what we want. That's the end game.
What he said.
Maurice LaMarche.
And you presented at VO Atlanta this year too, right?
I did. I had a lot of fun. I was on a wonderful all-star animation panel, which I was like, wow, this is crazy. I'm on this panel with Dave Noy and Valentina Latina and Malik Berger and Maurice LaMarche and blah, 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 just
Bang Zoom.
and no, that was the other one. And Cheryl King, and then the other one was an anime panel. It was like that one time I got reincarnated as an anime.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is so cool because I just booked my first 2 animes, like one after the other this year, and I was like, oh my god, now I kind of know about this stuff, so I feel informed to talk about it, and I don't feel like a total imposter on the stage. I love it. This is great.
Yeah.
Over 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you can fight imposter syndrome for that long.
Yeah. Can we just give a hats off to Miranda because I'm not going to shoot rich, but you are not only into the VO world, you are so talented in other areas. Scott shows us your art all the time. Yeah.
Oh, bullshit. Because this guy right here, you show so much love to her, and the pride oozes.
It's disgusting.
Legally, I have to. I'm not a fan, to be totally honest.
But
That makes 2 of us.
With kids.
She's kind of a dick.
Can I say something?
No.
I was able to get Maurice to come out here. He did not want to. He was like,
No kidding.
you set that up?
no, absolutely.
Not that he didn't want to, he was just scared.
He's scared and he didn't think anyone would want to talk to me. He was like, I don't know if I'm going to do a keynote.
Oh
and
my
I kept going, you're
gosh.
going to love it, because back when I started, the voiceover community was the ICM lobby. There wasn't this giant apparatus. This is back in the Pleistocene. But I kept saying, look,
1843.
shut up. I said, you're gonna love it. They're gonna love you. And he goes, okay. What about the keynote? I'm not a presenter. I was like, let's do a Q&A or something like that. So I wrote him a thing, and he goes, yeah. And James, he's like, hey, it's my fucking conference. We'll do it however we like.
Yeah.
If you want to do a keynote like that, that's the way we're gonna do it. And I was like, great, the keys to the Ferrari. Let's go.
Well, thank you for doing that. That's
Oh, it
awesome.
was the coolest thing. It was one
It
of
was
my
great.
favorite nights on stage ever, and I've been on a few. Some I kept my clothes on, others I did not. This is long. It was a different time.
You were in Super Sex too?
Okay, you know what?
Somebody's got the improv chops.
Does not fall far from the
Mailman was incredibly funny. And
He was really good.
let us get out of your way.
Scott and Miranda Parker, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can we get Tim Friedlander from Nava up here? Oh, and Karin is here. Karin, too. Come on, Karin. Woo!
Fucking wig. I love it.
If y'all are able to share that chair somehow.
She looks like Bad Sandy. Bad Sandy.
Yeah. I love that. Thank y'all for popping into the Making Waves VO podcast. How's the conference been so far?
Yeah.
It's been great.
Yeah, with Julia Roberts.
There's been a lot of things that have happened. There's been a lot of good stuff.
Things have happened. Things were done.
Things were done. Yeah, it's been.
Okay, that casting panel today. Woo! You go, Karin.
Good job.
I love it. Yeah.
Way to hold their feet to the fire.
The thing is, when he became the new CEO, we immediately emailed him, Jay O'Connor, and we said, hey, we would love to talk to you. And they have been so receptive to meeting with us, which is so great. And they still, have some things definitely that need to be worked out, but at least they're in a place where they are, listening to what we have to say. And that's better than before.
So Tim and Karin founded Nava, and they are trying to make the voiceover world better for all of us. And how did you guys, Tim, how did you guys come about this? And let's, because you didn't have enough to do, I guess, right?
We were literally, the short story is we were literally sitting on stage at VO Atlanta 2 years ago. And we had kind of planned it. It'd been in the works, and we actually literally got the LLC approval that morning for this thing we were going to try and do, and we were going to try and offer health insurance. We didn't have it, but we were going to do it. And we were literally sitting on stage, and I kind of looked over at Karin. I was like, should we do it? Should we say it? And we decided in the moment, on stage, that we were going to announce that we were going to do this thing called,
but you had officially formed it the day before. You got the papers that morning.
That morning we had gotten it. So we had worked on planning it and getting the LLC in place and something that was going to be there. But there wasn't no formal announcement. We didn't know what we were going to do or what it was going to be or how it was going to work. And we just announced it and said we're also going to offer national health care to voice actors.
We'll figure it out later.
And we'll figure it out darndest to try.
And we did. We figured it out later. We spent, the health insurance was about a 3-year project for me to get in the process, to get going. And we had 85 no's, 86 people said no or so. And we had one group plan that said yes. And we got that in place. And 2 weeks later, we officially launched Nava with access to national health care for freelance voice actors.
Do you have any idea of how many people have taken advantage of the health care?
About 100 people so far.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Seriously, even if it's 3,
No, well, it was, the last year, we had one person sign up, and I was ecstatic. That was it. One person, that's all we needed. And then we were here last year, and we were kind of hopefully people sign up for the insurance. And somebody came up to us, and he found us in the bar on the second night, and he was in tears, and he was like, I could not have been here. This insurance paid for my insulin because my other insurance wouldn't cover it, and I could afford to get my ticket to VO Atlanta. And so we're 3 of us in the bar in tears about because that was the whole point. Literally, if one person was able to get health insurance and get something that makes their life better, then that really was the whole point. Whether it was 1 or 100, it doesn't matter. It was one person.
But everything all the webinars you're offering, all the things that are included in that are just amazing. So thank you so much for connecting. And if you haven't joined Nava, please do. Yeah.
Tim, are you just an old softie?
Yeah, probably.
Tim is such a softie that we have to talk him away from people sometimes because he'll be like, oh my gosh, this thing happened to her. We have to pay for it all. And we're like, Tim, we can't. We don't have the money.
You pick your battles, right?
I pick them all apparently, so that's the problem.
Tim is like, you have the heart and soul of a giver and a helper. And so Tim's the kind of person that if somebody he didn't know needed help on the side of the road, he would drop everything and get in his car and go drive and help.
Where does that come from? Does that come from your parents? Is it just innate or what?
I don't know. It's a good question. I grew up on a commune on an Indian reservation and on a farm. Yeah, and it was just very much of just a communal area. It was 300 acres with just tons of families.
Was there struggle there?
Yeah, I grew up on food stamps and government cheese in the middle of Idaho, in the middle of nowhere, and I think I spent a lot of time. There are a lot of times when I needed help and people didn't help me, and I wanted just something to do something small to help me. I could look back on my life and just in important moments in my life that had somebody just stepped up and paid attention and said something would have changed the course of my life. And so I know that those little small things are important. Seeing somebody, there were multiple times where I battled depression for a long time, and I would just want somebody to acknowledge, just to see that and go, hey, it looks like you're having a bad day, and as opposed to just being ignored. And most of the time,
did you hear about what he did this week? Tell about
the
story with the tent.
Yeah, the tent. He's a literal superhero.
What'd you do, man?
I was at Starbucks. I'll make the short version of it. I was at Starbucks, and there was There were a couple homeless people live across the street, and they're always there, and we see them. And there was smoke coming out of one of the tents, and we were like, should we go over there? And everybody's like, oh, we called 911. And then I said, well, should we go over there and help? And they're like, no, it's fine. This happens all the time. And then smoke started building, and they started to see somebody trying to get out of the tent. So I ran across the street, got the guy out of the tent, sliced up on one side of the tent because he thought his friend was still in there, and pulled him out of it. His friend wasn't there, but he thought he was. So we pulled the guy out of the tent, and 3 seconds later, everything just exploded and went up in flames. And
you literally saved a life.
He literally cut open a tent with a knife to save someone out of a burning tent, which I feel like is a metaphor for Tim's whole life.
Wow.
But everybody's just standing around, just looking at it, and somebody had to do it.
But that's what I mean. So. Everybody was standing around looking at it, and Tim said somebody had to do it, and he did.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude,
Thank you so much.
Tim Friedlander, Karen Gilfrey, thank you so much for what you're doing. How can they donate? How can they join NAVA?
NAVAvoices.org. And for anybody who wants to join, if you join this weekend, there's a coupon code, VOA Atlanta 2024. Sorry, VOA 2024.
VOA
2024, and they'll get you $25 off. It's $150. It will be $150 for the whole year. And that gets you access to the healthcare. And as soon as you sign up, you can actually sign up for healthcare. The day you sign up for NAVA, you actually get access to the healthcare for that. So there's nothing you have to go through to get pre-approved or anything.
Thank you all for what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Making Waves VO Podcast House Party from VO Atlanta. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. This is Dave Walsh of The True Tell, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with my friends Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
Oh, Bobby, this reminder is presented by Full Compass and FullCompass.com.
Check this out. For a limited time, save 20% off your entire purchase at Full Compass.
Dynamic microphones, condenser mics, interfaces, cables, headphones, monitors.
Yeah, all that stuff. 20% off your entire purchase with very few exclusions. Call Full Compass at 800-356-5844 and just mention VO Atlanta 24, and they're going to take 20% off your entire basket.
But it can only last until the end of March. Browse FullCompass.com, have your wish list ready, then call 800-356-5844 and get 20% off.
That's 800-356-5844.
Full Compass, FullCompass.com.
We know VO. And back to the house party.
Can we get the bricks? Can I say the bricks? Can I say the bricks?
We can this year.
Can I say the bricks? Suzanne,
Sure.
or did Suzanne maintain her last name?
Freeman. Well, professionally Freeman, personally Freeman -brick.
Oh, yeah.
So you may say the brick. You may say the bricks. It's all good. And Maryland listeners here too.
Oh, Marilyn, we're gonna get you on in just a minute, okay?
I know. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't the purple gorgeous? Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Scott Brick and Suzanne Freeman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And congratulations on your weddings.
Thank you
very much.
Beautiful pictures. Your stunning bride.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We had a good time, and it's been nice. Like so many people even realizing that it happened and congratulating us. So it's kind of extending the experience.
You guys have been so busy this weekend. What all were you doing? What weren't you doing?
Scott coordinated the entire audiobook track, so he was at every single panel.
Oh my goodness!
Every day from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all right. That's why J. Michael and Anna asked me 2 years ago. I think we were at One Voice when they first floated the idea, and wanted to get audiobooks back in the general population, and I was like, well, then I am in, and so we haven't left the hotel either last year or this year. It was just, I want to be on hand if somebody has a question, and we're in the bar or the restaurant, they should be able to come up and get their question answered.
That's really cool of you. Scott, I wanted to ask you a question about being, married. Do you find that being married, you have less decisions to make? You have fewer choices? I'm serious.
Well, there's a few less, yes. I tell you what, everybody's been asking me all weekend long. They're like, how's it feel being married? And I just shake my head and say, what would any of us do without women with bad taste in men?
Agreed. That's a great answer. What have you been working on, Scott?
Oh, gosh, what have I been working on?
What have you been narrating?
I got to be honest, I am so brain fried at this moment. I'm trying to remember what I finished the other day. I finished the Clive Cussler. I finished the Tom Clancy.
Yeah, you did the most recent Jack Reacher, the most recent Orphan X. He got really behind. Both of us got really behind because of the wedding, because it took a little more time than we were anticipating. So yeah, everything's been kind of stacked up the last few weeks.
Yeah, trying to make up
do
for
like
lost time.
double.
Yeah, I
double
hardly
recording
worked in
sessions.
December just because we got married on the 29th, and I was sick for about 10 days before that. Primarily thrillers. I mean, that's kind of become my wheelhouse, my bread and butter.
Have you worked on projects together, or do you have a policy that you...
We have, as a matter of fact. So a couple of years ago, there's an author named Landon Beach.
Oh, we know Landon.
Yeah. Okay,
Of
course. What am I thinking? So Landon came up. He came up with this novel called Huron Breeze, and in it, there's this best-selling woman author who is so private, nobody knows her real name, and instead of doing public appearances, she has her narrator, her audiobook narrator, make all of her public appearances for her, Suzanne Elise Freeman. And it was a lovely thing. It was a nod to us. And I emailed him one day and I said, Do you want me to have these lines read by Suzanne? Because she's right up there.
She's right there. Yeah. And you kind of said her name.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And he said, "Oh, great idea." And so we, she comes down to the booth and she's reading the credits. And I was like, I can't believe I did this. I was giving her feedback on the credits.
Yes.
And she's like,
He's really good at directing credits.
She's like,
There it is.
Are you fucking kidding me? You're directing me on credits? And I was like, well, it's just the style of the series. Anyway, he wrote a sequel, and then he wrote another sequel, so it's going to be a trilogy. And I told him at one point, this main character that Suzanne narrates within the series within the series is about a character named Adrian Astra. And I said, you're crazy if you don't write the book within the book.
Oh, wow.
And he did. It was called The Blue Hour Sanction.
Yeah.
She narrated it. I got to direct her for, 4 or 5 hours of it. And she's got a rave from Audiophile magazine.
And we also narrated a sci-fi book together last year.
Yes, we did that too.
Yes.
He kind of forgets about the most important one.
No, it's just that the rave literally just came out like a week ago.
Okay.
They were like, there's so many badass women in this book. Who better than Suzanne Elise Freeman?
Yeah.
But we actually won an Audie together last year in sci-fi for a book that we co-narrated together.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So that was.
Suzanne, what have you been working on solo-wise? Can you talk about it?
Oh my God, this is. I needed homework to be able to think about what I've been doing. I mean, I've got Landon's. We've got Landon's upcoming one. There was something that I was working on really recently that I can't remember that was really exciting. No, I can't think of it. I can't think of it. It's too much pressure. I've been doing. We just did another book together that was really, really good. The building that wasn't. Yeah,
the building that wasn't.
It was a really cool for the same publisher and same publisher and same producer that produced our Audie winning one. And that was really. It was very Stephen King-esque.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of
creepy.
A psychological, twisty, but also kind of sci-fi, almost sliding doors-ish, and combined. I don't know. But like people living multiple lives within this building that doesn't actually exist.
The building, you can't find it unless you're meant to find it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Guy went looking for it for 30 years before he tracked it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a building. Cool. It should be easy to find.
Yeah. Well, congratulations again on your wedding, and we're looking forward to hearing these works you've done together.
Thank you very much.
Scott Brick, Suzanne Freeman, thank you so much. Can we get Mary Lynn? Mary Lynn, are you close by? Mary Lynn? Mary Lynn Wisner with the purple hair.
Did you get your wig on Amazon too?
Yes, I did. Oh, we have like the same wig.
Please have a seat, Mary Lynn.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good to see you.
Bobby. Hi, good to see you.
It's good to see you.
I feel like I need to do very Quentin Tarantino kind of thing here. Don't you? Yeah.
What have you been working on at the conference?
Oh my gosh. Mostly all commercial, and then I was also on a dubbing panel, but commercials are my passion, so I coached a few X sessions on commercials, go from blocked to booked. And then this is my 9th year of hosting the Commercials A to Z panel, which is fun.
Year?
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that because every year, commercials change. So it's the whole premise of that panel is I get a representative from sort of each faction of the commercial world, from a talent to a demo producer to an agent to a manager, casting director, producer, whoever, we can get there. And everybody kind of chimes in on, their part in the commercial world. So that's been a really fun panel I do. And then this is the second year I also hosted the casting directors panel. So that was me and Tina Marasco and Carol Kimball and Terry Burland.
You had a cruise recently too, didn't you, with Bob Bergen? Who else was on there?
We cruised the high seas. It was just us. It's really kind of Bob Bergen's thing, and he asked me to come along. He coaches animation, and I coach commercial, of course. And it was a 10-day cruise. It was a long time at sea. And so you can only, the way the cruise ships work, you can only teach when you're at sea. So it was 5 days of coaching, and the talent that signed up for the cruise, there was about 40 of them. And so with Bob and I would split it in half, and half one day would be with me, the other half with him, and then they switch. So each group got 2 full days of commercial coaching, 2 full days of animation coaching, and then the 5th day we get together, we do kind of the business of the business. And it's a full day of anything you want to know about VO.
Wow.
So it's fun.
I was talking to Kevin about this earlier. Did you notice this year how many newer voiceover talent were in the group?
Yeah.
It just shows again that it's just exploding.
I think the pandemic has a lot to do with that. There's I do say this respectfully. There are a lot of people that thought, "Oh, this sounds fun. I'm home. I'm going to do that." I always joke around that I got so many calls during the pandemic from parents of kids that my kids went to school with. Yeah. And Mary Lynn, I remember you do this thing in voiceover, and I'm at home now. Let's talk. It's like, okay, here's what you got to do: a booth, lessons, demos, and when people realize how invested they have to be in I thought you could just call me in. I'm like, no. No. Like, get on it, And so, yes, I am seeing, there was a heavy saturation in the last couple of years, but I'm kind of starting to see, if you've noticed, like on Facebook Marketplace, there's a lot more booths for sale now and microphones. And I think I think we'll start to see even more of that as the year goes on. People are realizing this is difficult, and you do have to train. It does not happen overnight. So, I think
go
it'll
from
phase
0
out.
to Pixar in 2 weeks?
Absolutely not. I've never seen that happen in my 30 plus years of casting.
And you can't become a coach in under a year of experience.
Thank you, Bobby. Oh. No. Thank you, Bobby.
Do you want to address that, Mary Lynn?
How much time do we have?
So they've been doing voiceover for 18 months, and they're coaching stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I could address that, but your listeners might turn off and go, "Who is that angry woman?"
Well, what's wrong with that? I just want your perspective.
What's wrong with it? Not that somebody can't coach and might not have that natural ability to be a teacher, but you really do have to be immersed in the business, and it's not even so much about like a respect thing, but it's just having that area of expertise that you can speak to what you're speaking of, or you have the knowledge. And I mean, I've come across people that I have coached that are now coaching, and that's frustrating too. But I sometimes watch TikTok, and I see these people on TikTok, like they're teaching people how to do voiceover, and meanwhile the guy's talking on a Yeti mic, and in his kitchen, and this is my studio, and I made $40 today, and it's just this wrong. Oh, I'm not kidding. He's out there. He doesn't know my name because my name is different on TikTok, and I'll actually ask him questions like, "Let's hear your demo." Yeah, and I go, "Do you need?" I do, because he's giving out wrong information, and I'm calling him on it, because it's just. I always say it's the mom in me. I just get so protective of talent out there getting the wrong information, especially newbies. So, yes, there is a proliferation of, newbie coaches out there. And again, Godspeed, good luck. But, vet your coaches. Ask around, and maybe even an experienced coach might not work for you either. I'm not saying that, but expertise does definitely, speak volumes.
Love it. Mary Lynn Wissner, thank you so much for your time.
The Making Waves VO Podcast House Party from VO Atlanta. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Lacey Deline, voice artist and producer, and you're watching Disney Channel. No, podcast. Making Waves. Oh, Kevin and Bobby's thing! Whoops.
Oh, Bobby, this reminder is presented by Full Compass and FullCompass.com.
Check this out. For a limited time, save 20% off your entire purchase at Full Compass.
Dynamic microphones, condenser mics, interfaces, cables, headphones, monitors.
Yeah, all that stuff. 20% off your entire purchase with very few exclusions. Call Full Compass at 800-356-5844 and just mention VO Atlanta 24, and they're going to take 20% off your entire basket.
But it can only last until the end of March. Browse FullCompass.com, have your wish list ready, then call 800-356-5844 and get 20% off.
That's 800-356-5844.
Full Compass, FullCompass.com.
We know VO. And back to the house party.
Can we get Steve Henderson? Would you mind joining us for a second? We're going to talk with Sandy Cooksey in a minute, and Andrew, we're going to get you on in just a minute too, okay, if you'll hang around? Yeah, absolutely. So Steve Henderson from Good Pipes VO. Steve is in Atlanta.
Hello.
Boy. Steve, thank you so much.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
How's the conference been for you? What have you been up to?
The conference has been great. I've met a ton of new people this year. Just kind of to speak what you were just talking about.
Could you speak in your deep voice, by the way?
I will try to. Yes, I will try to. Yes. I will pay you well for saying that. It definitely seems like there's a slew of new people here this year. That it's fun. It's fun to see that the voiceover is continuing. I do agree with what Mary Lynn just said, that I think the pandemic did have a lot to do with it, but people enjoy it, and I think this is the best job in the world. And why wouldn't you want to try this?
Exactly. It's fun. It's working from home. It's everything that anybody would want. So
absolutely. So, but yeah, I just had a great advanced promo session today with Harry Dunn. Hadn't had a chance to meet him yet. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time in there. The crew in there was awesome. It was fun just because it was an invitation-only session. So to get in there, and it's a different experience to be in there with vetted talent, as opposed to some of the others that you go to, and people are asking the questions like, "Oh, how do I do this?" and all that kind of stuff. But
and Harry doesn't mince words.
He does not. He was very, very direct today, but he was a good guy. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Love it. What's next for Steve? What have you been working on? What's coming up next? What are you striving for? What's happening?
Well, to be honest with you, I just wrapped up my circuit with NASCAR. They do their
give us that synopsis, by the way, what you do with NASCAR.
So I've been their live announcer for all of their award shows for about the past 9 years, and do the Cup Awards in their Hall of Fame. And it's kind of funny, if you ever watch a race, I'm the guy that, sorry for all those people that maybe want to send out all their NASCAR stuff to their buddies, but I'm the guy that says you can't redistribute, duplicate, or whatever without the express written consent from the NASCAR,
It's legal, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm that guy. So if anybody ever asks, "Oh, where do I hear you?" I'm like, "I just watch the end of a NASCAR race, you'll hear me." So, it's always fun.
But yeah, just it's been a lot of fun doing a lot of promo work. I'm still the voice for the Inspiration Network, and it's fun. Everybody always says that they hear me on the kids shows because I'm the GPB voice here in Atlanta.
Oh wow!
Are you still doing the? Is it Fox overseas? Were you doing something?
That was the Inspiration Network.
Okay.
That stuff's kind of overseas and whatnot. But, been having a lot of fun just catching up with some older colleagues. It's always interesting to see kind of what happens. Everybody that I talk to says that 2023 was kind of a down year as far as their income goes. And I've just seen a lot of kind of reinvigorated effort from talents, myself included, just trying to kind of re-kickstart things going into 2024. Not that 2023 was bad, but I mean, for me personally or whatever, but it just seems like this new year, there's a new energy.
Yeah, I think we were all worried it was AI, and
Yeah.
it's not 2024. It's very promising so far.
But, I got a chance to sit in on your panel today, Bobby, on politicals.
The political?
And,
Yeah.
political work is...
so many people interested in political.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's
That
gonna be a
has
lot of
been
work.
fun. I've been active in politicals this year and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a lot of fun.
So Steve, there's so many people that come into the voiceover world because they've been told they have a good voice. It's like, how did you get here? Why are you trying this out? People told me I had a good voice. I'm going to try it out. You are, sir, someone genuinely that has a good voice, and you started doing voiceover work. What would you don't take this wrong, but you do not have a conversational next door neighbor sound.
Right.
I love you like a second cousin, but I mean that with good intent. So what advice would you give to somebody that is coming into this because somebody told them they had a good voice?
Well, that's the bubble buster. I mean, and the thing that I always tell people is this. I mean, it's if you look at what we are told to study on radio, TV, digital, whatever, we're actually being misled. And the reason I say that is because if you think about the way the whole process goes of how you get recorded and whatnot, there are phases to it. There's pre-production, production, post-production. We're recorded in the production phases where they get all the raw materials and all that kind of stuff. And they take all that and they send it to the post house. They take your voice, they EQ it, they compress it, and they do all this stuff to make it sound like it's just this buttery sweet reed. Excuse me. And we hear all that in the post-produced sound. And then we try to take that into the raw production phase, and it's like we're puking on the mic, bringing that post-produced sound into the raw phase. Yeah. So I would tell people not to worry so much about how they sound, but instead to focus on the message. Because that's really what we're being hired for. We're being hired for our opinions, and that opinion comes through testimony. And when I coach or train students or whatever, they get frustrated with me because they want it to be all about how glorious they sound and all that. And I'm like, I don't believe you. And if I don't believe you, they won't either. So, so it's just one of those things where you have to really kind of pay attention to how authentic are you being in your messaging. And if you can really get that down, that's where you're going to be successful in this industry. So,
that's amazing.
Steve Henderson, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. Can we get Sandy Cooksey? Sandy. Would Sandy join us? Sandy had an interesting path to voiceover. She doesn't come from radio. She doesn't come from theater or acting. Sandy Cooksey, would you tell us how did you get into voiceover?
Well, but you know what? Okay, so I got into voiceover. I've always wanted to be a voice actor, and as Steve is leaving, we worked at the same company together.
What?
Can you believe it? Small world.
Are you from Atlanta?
Mm-hmm,
Oh,
born
okay.
and raised. And so I always wanted to be a voice actor, but, I didn't know much about it. My parents were very conservative, and so I just went along life. And then I moved to New York at one point, and I was like, I'm going to pursue this voice acting thing. And I took one class, and I was like, I'm not going to pursue this voice acting thing because I was like, this is a lot. And at that time, it was a lot of celebrities. So it was just hard to cut through. So I just put it on hold. And then when I moved back to Atlanta, I was like, I'm going to pursue this voiceover thing. So I got training, continued to work. And I've been doing it since 2013. And I finally went full time in 2020 with everybody else who wanted to join the voiceover group.
What are you working on? What genres do you specialize
So
in?
I love e-learning.
Kevin raves about you, by the way.
Thank you so much. I love e-learning. I love, I actually did a co-session or a co-teaching session, X-session at the voiceover conference this year, and it was about navigating e-learning and how to pivot. And so one of the things that I love, I call it mini, M-A-N-Y, mini, M-I-N-I, genres.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so those are things like, they're the non-glamorous things. So they're like non-broadcast things like 800 numbers. I do a lot of Medicare. Call 800-555-1212 now if you want Medicare. So I do that. Also a lot of IVR I love, but one of my favorite genres, and it's not, it doesn't pay a lot, but it's just because my passion is to use my voice to connect people, to serve, and that's audio description. So I love working. I'm on a roster where I do a lot of audio description for Netflix movies. So I just finished one. I can't disclose it. But anyway, but I did do a series. I always like to say, I did a series with Morgan Freeman as the audio describer. He did the narration. I did the audio description for Our Universe, and it was nominated for an Emmy.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I love the non-broadcast area. And it's just been fun and e-learning because I like to learn. So I really love it. So.
And I can tell you the way Sandy is talking right now is exactly how she sounds in her e-learning narration, which is huge.
Very soothing.
Yeah, you've got it's a comforting sound.
It's almost mother. Are you mother?
No, I'm not.
It's almost mother-like. Yeah.
That's a compliment because I get a lot of roles where they're like, we're looking for a mother. And so I'm like, I'm not a mother, but I can pretend to be. Yes, exactly.
That's why you do it.
Exactly.
What have you been working on lately? Lots of e-learning stuff?
Yeah, a lot of
other
e-learning.
projects?
And like I said, I just finished a big Netflix movie audio description. Also, I like the business of voiceover because when you start out, you don't know, like I come from corporate America, and this entrepreneurial or CEO world is so different. So I'm working on launching a digital course on how to just set up and mind your business in VO. And that's talking about setting up your registration, making sure you have an accountant, making sure you save your money for taxes, whether you should be an S corp or individual, all that. So I'm trying to work on that. I also have a booking journal because I find myself in the booth when I book things and it's a live directed session. I'm like writing down on these little sticky notes like, okay, the client's name, the director's name, the notes and all that. And so I have a booking journal that I'm gonna do a little soft launch sale coming out soon. And so I just love it and just love making things that will help people. So
I love that. And that journal thing that's huge because that could help so many people.
You're very creative. Love it.
Sandy Harrison Cooksey, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Can we get Andrew on here?
How's it going?
Andrew Morrison.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Andrew
you for
Morrison,
having
voice
me.
actor. And Andrew has his own podcast. We know that. It's something to do with coffee, right?
Yeah, so before voiceover, I actually started as a coffee roaster, and that's kind of where I got a little bit of my business knowledge. And so when I got into the voiceover industry, I kind of went in silently. I wasn't a part of a lot of the major conference circuits or anything along those lines. Until the pandemic happened, that's when I initially wanted to say, hey, I want to start doing conferences and start doing VO Atlanta. But that's when everything shut down. But I still really wanted to get to know people, so I started sending out as many Zoom meetings as I could, whether somebody was posting a lot in the Facebook groups or with somebody I knew from TV. And so finally, I met a lovely gentleman named Everett Oliver.
Oh,
yeah.
Everett.
And so we had a very first he called me and he was like, "What's your phone number? Let's call." And I was like, "Okay." And so he was like, "Yeah, what do you want? Like, do you want my business consultation?" I'm like, "That's valuable, but that's not. I just kind of want some guidance. Like, I've been doing my own thing. I'm prolific in marketing, but I want to know how to navigate like what you guys are doing." And so he's like, "Yeah, okay, we can set up a Zoom session." And so we did. And he was like, "If you're meeting with so many people that are high end in the industry, why don't you turn that into like a podcast style format?" And everybody has this ritual in the morning where we all enjoy coffee, and nobody knows that like we're all enjoying it at the same time across the world. And so I wanted to be able to have that intimate moment with people. And so I started listening to a lot of podcasts, and it was the same 10 questions being asked to voiceover actors over and over and over about things they did 20 years ago, or like how they're doing this. I'm like, I want to know what you're doing today. I want to know who you actually are. And so I started this podcast called The Voiceover Coffee Shop, where we sit over Zoom and we have coffee and we actually get to know over video who the person is behind the voice and what they're actually doing on a day-to-day basis. Not the glamour, but the tenacity that they're putting in over and over and over into their craft and the things that truly make them beautiful and creative voices.
Love it.
Love it. Andrew, thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Looking forward to what you've been doing. And did you have a big win this football season?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I've been doing a lot of promo work. I've been very grateful that it's landed in my lap. And so this past football season in the college space, I was very grateful to do the Valero Alamo Bowl. With Oklahoma State and Arizona.
I love that.
And then I've recently become a UFC for ESPN Plus. I've become the UFC's pay-per-view fights for all the UFC fights.
Are you a sports fan, or do you just?
I'm not a big sports guy, but
Yeah.
but a lot of my career. So my career started in documentaries, doing stuff for National Geographic, oddly enough. And they always wanted that in Jakarta, and like that very, very deep read. And so then when I started marketing, a lot of my start was in that very deep space. And so a lot of promos started to fall in me, and sports just kind of fell in line with that. And so when people were finding me organically, a lot of sports companies were finding me based on that deep baritone, the things that I was describing myself as. And so when I started marketing to companies, I would find small companies where they were like maybe working on like small like sample pitches or scratches or things like that. And so when they started moving on to bigger companies, they said, well, Drew's our voice guy. And so when they moved to bigger companies like ESPN Plus or different companies like that, I always tried to stay top of mind. And so then it just fell relationships from there.
Man, congratulations. Continued success to you, man. Thanks for coming on
Thank
the
you for
Making
having
Waves
me.
VO podcast. And did
You
I
have some latecomers to the party,
did
Kevin.
I see Joe Cipriano, the OG?
Come over
here, Joe. Joe,
come. Wait a minute, I got my posse with me.
Come on.
Come on, posse, let's go. Come on.
Your ladies.
Are you gonna have Issa and Bridget and Brad?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
have Issa and Christy. Is that Christy back there?
That's Christy.
Oh my
gosh.
What the heck? Oh my God.
Have a seat.
Have a seat. We gotta
Christy, you'll be coming up in a minute. Trust me, because I got to ask about that hair.
Wait a minute, I don't think I've seen this microphone before. What is
Ladies and
that?
gentlemen,
oh my
it is
God.
the legendary,
Legendary,
the
iconic
Joe Cipriano.
Joe Cipriano. Oh my God. Where is he? Where is he? Oh my God, he's
Kevin
here.
and I took bets on if you would show or not.
Oh, of course. You know what? He's much shorter than I thought. Seeing him in
He
person.
sounds shorter than he actually is.
And I'm here with Bridget Reel and Brad and
Issa
Issa
Lopez.
Lopez. Yes, we are a posse. We are hanging.
Joe, what have you been working on this weekend?
I just did an X session, promo X session, which actually went very well. Enjoyed that. And I moderated 2 panels. I did a promo panel. Why in the world they would put me on that?
What is this chucklehead
It's
doing?
crazy. So I did that, and I said, okay, I'll do it.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. And then I did a radio imaging and TV affiliate panel, and I don't get it. I don't know what that's. Somebody's smoking something. I don't get it. But yeah. What did you do this weekend, you guys?
I did a political breakout session with Christy Bowen, my political partner. We have a little business, and Kevin
Yes,
and I did
Christy.
the podcast panel.
Podcast panel.
Yeah.
You know what? You guys should start a podcast. I think you should. Yeah, that would be really good. Don't you think? I think that would be awesome. Yeah,
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mic track. So tell us, Joe, about your masterclass promo work you
Oh,
do.
aren't you sweet? Here, hold on. Let me reach into my pocket. Here's a 20. Here's a 30. 40. Thank you. I am doing the online master classes. There's an intro to promos, which is about a 2-week course. And the masterclass is 4 weeks. This is the most amazing platform that my daughter-in-law, the young woman who married my son, found for me. She is a design artist. By the way, see Bridget Reel right here?
We do.
She was the officiant at my son and daughter-in-law's wedding. And she came all the way.
I did.
Get down over here. There's a microphone here.
Oh my God, is
Yeah,
that what that
That's
is?
it, yes.
Is
It's-
that the wedding in Italy?
No, this was in Los Angeles. Yeah.
I had just moved from Denmark at the time.
Were you in Portugal then?
No, we were in Denmark by that point, and we had just moved like about a month or so earlier from
And
to
yeah.
Denmark.
And my son and daughter-in-law at the time,
Love them.
His fiance said, you know, who we would love to marry us? Bridget Reel. And I was like, oh, poor Bridge.
So I went to the Church of Oprah and got a license, and I found out that also Joe. Fun fact: Joe has also officiated weddings.
I have. I've done 3, I think.
So
yeah.
we now go by exactly. So we are starting a new business.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And
We
go,
do voiceovers and bar mitzvahs.
and bar mitzvahs and weddings.
DJ weddings.
But, but not a bris. Just stay far away from a
No.
keep
Although
a knife
the tips are good. Yeah.
But you know, and we both now go by Your Holiness.
But can I just say that Bridget, it was an amazing weekend. She came in all the way from Denmark.
Yes.
And her husband, Stephen, was a best man at a wedding the exact same day in New York or Jersey.
In Maryland.
Oh, in Maryland.
So I was on the West Coast and he was on the East Coast.
And he said, it's his best friend. And he said, no, you need to go do this. And she did. And she was awesome. And my son was so happy. And
Oh, my God, it was
we
the
have
best
beautiful
wedding.
pictures. And now I'm giving you a picture that you can see now. No.
Okay, not so much.
Just like that.
Yes,
Just
it's
like
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Joe Cipriano, Bridget Reel, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank
the
you.
Making Waves VO
Love you
podcast.
guys.
Love you.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to check out the masterclass for promos.
Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing that up again. I forgot to circle
Squirrel.
around. Yeah, squirrel. It would be W.
One more?
w.promomasterclass.com.
Love it. And you
And
can work
anybody
with-
who comes in, if they use VO Atlanta 24, only because if your podcast, gets 15% off on either the intro class or the master class.
Please
Thank
tell
you,
your
Joe.
beautiful wife Ann we.
Ann's back home because this weekend is Academy Award weekend. We always have friends over for that, and she really wanted to do that. And so she's there, and we're going to West Palm Beach next to see these kids, my grandchildren, and we'll be there for a couple months. And she'll join me on Tuesday.
Joe
So,
Cipriano, thank you
love
for your
you
time.
guys.
Thank you. Brad, we're going to get you on in a second if you don't mind. But Isa Lopez, can we get Isa Lopez up here? Isa, thank you for popping in the Making Waves VO podcast. Isa is one of the most hardworking voiceover talents working in radio imaging. What else do you work on?
Man, promo. I booked NFL Game Day this year. Shout out to NFL Network for allowing women to work. You know, we love sports too. You know, and we know how to talk smack anyway, naturally, right? So yeah, I mean, it's great because it's about those people that are thinking outside the box, that are allowing, because when you see these shows, even on TV, on YouTube, you see that they got a woman in there putting in her true sense and stuff. So they're, doing more promo like that.
You have been on or your name has been on our podcast. Vanessa James was just on
Oh, yes,
a
that's
couple
my
of
girl.
weeks ago and talked about you.
Well, we have a lot of similar story coming from radio and stuff. It was a huge learning curve. You hear, you're going to have to take the radio out of your voice. But, when you're in radio, you're cocky. And so, And so when I left or when I was let go, I thought, this is going to be great. I'm going to book stuff right away. No.
Yeah, Kevin and I come from radio. We know
No.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was just saying yesterday, and J. Michael Collins reposted it because it's, going a little viral. But I want people to know the bad of the realistic story, It took 3.5 years for me to book a commercial. And the only reason I booked it is because it was about house shopping. And guess what I was doing at that particular moment in my life? I was shopping for a house. And so the directors obviously could hear the realness and oh, wow, she's really, because it was real. Yeah. But it goes to show, if you could really turn that on, and if you can learn and coach and really turn that on when you can, imagine what you can do. And it's only by coaching and getting out of your own way, right? And putting the, a conceitedness to the side and humbling yourself and saying, I have to learn,
Yeah. Radio imaging. How has that changed for you? I know radio is just, the whole thing has just changed so much in the past decade or so.
But the good thing is that, like, if you would have asked me this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have said, oh man, radio imaging is in trouble. Yeah. But it's not, and here's why. Online radio stations are making buku money, and they also need imaging.
But are the rates the same as broadcast?
The ones that I have with my agents are. Yeah, absolutely. And so you set your ground, and you teach people how to treat you from the beginning. And so, it's crazy because now people just stop me out for what I do. I'm known for that whole Spanglish thing where I'm going from English to Spanish. And the good thing is that big brands are starting to do it. I booked a gig for Always and for Tide, and they're starting with, hey, you want to use this because, nena, this is the best thing ever. They go from English to Spanish, and because they know that that's the way we think. And Hispanic people spend the most time online. We are the people that buy the most from influencers. My whole outfit is from an influencer. I've been stopped all day today. I follow people online. It's to the T. We spend the most time online. We spend a lot of money, and we're hard workers. And where there's money, there's opportunity. And so I speak for that percentage of the U.S. And it's starting to book and it's starting to take off. And thank God that these brands are starting to get it. Hey, we got to do this whole Spanish-English thing. It's a thing.
Are you doing political yet? Because they're really starting to look for this
thing. Political is about 25% of my business now. Yes, especially in Latinx places. Florida, Texas, California. I mean, everywhere.com. So...
Where should casting directors and producers go in terms of the Latin voice? Like what has been in the past, and what should the future be as far as casting voices like yours?
Well, I said this earlier in a panel. It used to be that I would book the patient coming in, or the mom, the stay-at-home mom, or during COVID, it was the line worker that got COVID and it was complaining in the e-learning. But I'm starting to see more Hispanic doctors, presidents that are Hispanic. Yes. We're CEOs too. Yeah. So, but it's about right. Oh my Lord, he's a hot.
There we go.
Hot mess. Do you hear me? Hot mess. Right. So, but it's those. It's thinking outside. Again, shout out to the creative directors that are thinking outside the box and opening those doors. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Isa Lopez, thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on the Making Waves VO podcast. Brad Highland, would you mind joining us for a second, buddy? And
let me call my
Chrissy,
agent.
you're coming up next. Chrissy Bona's coming up next. And then we're going to have a VO Atlanta scholarship winner coming up in a minute.
Oh.
But we're going to talk to Brad first. Brad, what have you been up to this weekend except for harassing those casting, the online casting folks? Brad said, your shit is pissing me off.
I was the first person to drop the shit word.
Yeah.
But
Well, you said that's horse shit.
I said it's horse shit, yeah.
Literally said that's horse shit.
And I said it to him again later. Yep. Yeah. Yes, I did.
What have you been? So let's talk about. So we were all watching the online casting panel and everything that was going on. What's wrong with online casting right now?
I don't think there's anything wrong with having online casting as part of your way to find good work. It's a great thing to use. You can't rely on it to be the only thing that you have, but there's great jobs to glean out, and then those customers become returning customers. It's just on voices.com. You just need to be careful and know the the evil empire that they can be and just work with it. I think they're going to try to make some changes. We'll see if it really
Well,
happens.
I think what you were trying to say, and everybody else up on that stage, or I'm sorry, in the audience, was saying, we are the talent. You know, we're what's driving your
Right.
business, and they've got to understand that, and
Yeah.
they're just not taking that into consideration.
I told him afterwards, we were talking, and I said, you know, if you just did two things, you would rule more than you think you already do. And because their functionality of the site is very good, the way it works.
Yes.
And I said, if you just quit double dipping and quit keeping the talent from being able to talk to their customers, you could, it would be, everyone flock to you. If you want to, this guy is all about growth. He's from, he's from the, the money side. He doesn't know people, and he doesn't know our industry. So he's just, we'll see what happens. I thought he started out great, and then he got a little bit defensive. But we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Yeah. What's the future for Brad Highland? What have you been working on? What's coming up next?
I have just a really fun, growing bunch of students that I'm coaching.
Nice.
And I've booked some really fun stuff. The only thing I'm a new Charlie Tuna from Stark is? Yeah. I'm the new Charlie Tuna.
Shut your face.
Yeah.
Dude, that's freaking killer.
Yeah.
Can you do it?
Or can you?
Yeah. Tuna in a pouch. Yeah. 13 flavors. 13 grams of protein. It's that kind of voice. It's the same.
That's the old school vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Dude, congrats on that.
Thanks.
Come through an agent. It didn't come. Did it come?
No,
from
it
casting,
came.
or?
It came through a friend of mine who is the owner and engineer at Soundbite Studios in Atlanta here, because they bring me down to do Elf on the Shelf here. Okay. And he knew I did sound-alike stuff, and his friend in New York City said, "Hey, I'm looking for a new Charlie Tuna voice. Who do you know?" And he put me in, and about 6 weeks later, they heard enough, and then they had me do the new Charlie.
Wow. Awesome. Dude, that's congratulations.
Really cool. Thank you.
Much continued success to you.
Thanks,
Brad
yeah.
Highland. Thank you.
Thanks very much for having me on again.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
The Making Waves VO Podcast House Party from VO Atlanta. We'll be right back.
Well, hello there. I'm AJ McKay, voice actor, demo producer, and audio engineer. And you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with my good friends, love these guys to death, Kevin Kilcarney and Bobby Maswell. What's that? Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Whatever.
Oh, Bobby, this reminder is presented by Full Compass and FullCompass.com.
Check this out. For a limited time, save 20% off your entire purchase at Full Compass.
Dynamic microphones, condenser mics, interfaces, cables, headphones, monitors.
Yeah, all that stuff. 20% off your entire purchase with very few exclusions. Call Full Compass at 800-356-5844 and just mention VO Atlanta 24, and they're going to take 20% off your entire basket.
But it can only last until the end of March. Browse FullCompass.com, have your wish list ready, then call 800-356-5844 and get 20% off.
That's 800-356-5844.
Full Compass, FullCompass.com.
We know VO. And back to the house party.
Christy Bowen, can we get Christy Bowen up in this piece? I don't even know what I'm looking at. I don't.
Oh my God.
Bobby, could you give us a descriptor?
I don't
please?
even know.
I can't. I just can't.
I can't even describe it.
Well, okay, it's wig night, wig party night here, and I have a wig that's very flamboyant, and not me, but the new me, and I love it.
But it's so character-esque.
Yes, it is. It's very almost like Edna, but not Edna.
Yeah.
Very
purple
it's
and
fun.
black and kind of in a heart shape almost with your face.
Yeah, big poofy on my head.
With a hint of B-52s in there.
Yeah. I love it. It's fun.
So Christy Bowen, if you don't know Christy is she's an entrepreneur big time to the utmost level. Christy is a voice actor. Christy is a coach. Christy is a studio owner. Christy,
is out of bandwidth.
Well said.
Officially on Soundbox.
Thank you. Yes, we became Soundbox Nashville at Tennessee VoiceOver Studios. That was announced right before the VoiceOver VO Atlanta conference. So we are now an affiliate with Tim Friedlander and his Soundbox group. So, yeah.
So what does that mean for folks that are traveling, maybe popping into Nashville?
Yeah, basically that means that we have an approved studio that can, match the quality that they can do at any of the other Soundbox locations. So if they happen to have started a project in LA for whatever reason, but they're in Nashville or anywhere on the East Coast, that they can be sent by, whoever, whatever, to Nashville. And we can, we've got basically the same settings and all that kind of good stuff. And they can, do pickups, complete a project, whatever. They're in Nashville at Soundbox Nashville version. So, and because they've got such a big marketing arm and they have a lot of clients and things, they'll be sending out, hey, we've added a new location. So if any of your talent or any of your needs are there in the Nashville area or the East Coast, when, your people can't get all the way to the West Coast, we have a location for you.
Yeah.
So
Christy
that's what it means.
was also very busy this weekend. We did the political panel.
Yeah.
Together. What else were you doing?
I did the marketing panel. Okay. I was on the marketing panel, and then we did our political VO, left-right political VO, breakout session, which was a lot of fun. So.
And then you were a sponsor as well.
Yeah, I was a sponsor for Tennessee VoiceOver Studios, and I've got pillows and a sign and, all that fun stuff, and just, kind of around.
I just got to be candid with you for 1 second. It is so hard for me to take you serious right now.
It is pretty funny.
And if I woke up to that in the middle of the night, I would be screaming.
I'm having fun with it for now, but I have to say it's gonna go away.
Christy, take a picture for Declan.
Oh yes,
Christy is like such a. Forgive me, but you are a type A personality.
Yeah, pretty much.
But to see you like flex like this and get a little crazy, it's refreshing. It's so cool to see.
It's fun to be somebody else for a little while.
Yes. Don't take off till we get a picture together.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God. So what's going on at Tennessee VoiceOver Studios? Like you're working on coaching, you're bringing people in to record.
Yeah, we have a lot of classes that have just started, but we've got another round of things. We constantly keep upping the classes. We do weekly workouts, both virtual and in person. It's a series of 5 classes in a row. We work out on different kinds of scripts and things. I have guest directors, including yourself, Kevin. They're wonderful, and who everyone always gives rave reviews about. We also have the career path class, which is about to wrap up. They've got 3 sessions left. It's a 12-week class. It's a very comprehensive course that is basically A to Z, soup to nuts, whatever you want to call it, about how to run your voiceover business. If this is the career you want to choose, part-time, full-time, whatever, it's basically how to make this a career. It's a way to give you a pathway to make it your job and all the ins and outs that it takes to do that. Because people get coaching, they learn how to do the performance, and then they get their demos, and they're like, oh crap, now what? Well, you're given a Bible of exactly what to do. And if you freak out when you book your first directed session, you're like, I don't know what to do. You turn to, chapter 4, and it tells you exactly what to do in a direct and what not to do in a directed session. Or I got all these auditions, I don't know what to do. Well, label them this way if it doesn't tell you. We go into all that detail, and then, marketing and websites and all the things that it takes to start and run a voiceover business. It's 12 years of full-time for me, but 30 years of, voiceover experience, and then other people's information in there. And I have Mark Scott talking about marketing. I've got Tom Deere talking about how to do a business plan. I've got somebody who does vocal coaching talking about your health of mental and physical of your voice and all those kinds of things. And I have my CPA come in when we talk about money and about how to set yourself up and what to do and what not to do so that Uncle Sam doesn't come knocking rudely sometimes. Been there, done that. So it's that kind of class. It's a very comprehensive class, and that's kind of the big one. It takes a lot of my time because it is 12 sessions in a row. It's like 3 months. You're like, wow, I know these people very well now, but it's a lot of fun. We have, different special guests and special classes and things that we do. And yeah, it's going well. Classes are filling up. We do demos occasionally, as Kevin, because he's the amazing, wonderful producer director that we have with us on our team. So yeah, and it's fun. So we do a variety of different things, and we're going to keep growing, hopefully, and keep moving on.
One of the hardest working women in the VO business.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Christy Bowen.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We're here at VO Atlanta 2024, and I think we're going to wrap things up with Whitney. Whitney, Bobby, I'm going to let you introduce Whitney, Bobby.
So I'm fortunate enough to have met Whitney, last year, I guess, through Cincinnati's voiceover meetup group, and just the sweetest person you could ever meet, and just a ball of sunshine. Whitney, she may come off a very meek person, but I know she's got so much talent inside her. She came to me and said, I want to really go to VoiceOver Atlanta, so you need to go for the scholarship. And, she called and said, well, what do I say? I said, just be yourself. Just say your situation, your story, what's taking you up to getting into voiceover. And she won the thing. Yes. And you've had a great weekend, haven't you?
I have, yes. Am I too close?
No.
Okay.
That's one of the things you'll learn is mic technique
yeah.
as you go. But yeah, you can work that close. You want to hang loose away. That's the ideal. So hang loose. And let's see. Yep. About to hang loose away.
So tell us what you've been doing. What sessions have you been in this week?
I've been in quite a few sessions. So a lot of sessions about commercial, a lot of sessions about animation, editing.
Really?
Yeah, that was kind of went over my head, but I liked it.
I think she was a little surprised. She was in on the online casting, and she was just like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
it's getting pretty hot.
So Whitney, we're going to help you here a little bit. Yeah, shots were fired, but we're going to talk about the intimidation shots that have been fired. Since you've been here this weekend, you're just getting into this. You won the scholarship for VO Atlanta. Is there anything that's intimidating to you? Because we're going to help you through that.
Anything that's intimidating. You mean about VO in general, or like the conference?
The whole process, not the conference necessarily, but what you've been exposed to at VO Atlanta and your voiceover career moving forward.
So just understanding the depth of like what's needed to become.
Because it's deep.
Yeah, can be a bit intimidating. So I'm happy that I have like support around to like level set, but I think for the most part it's kind of intimidating, but I'm learning to like do this. My career coach tells me, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, she's not that much of a wallflower because she read for Pandora this week.
I did.
How did that go?
So I like walked really slowly up to the mic, and then everyone in the room was like, do it. Yeah.
That's not pressure, is it? Yeah.
No, it was really, really fun because Bobby, as you said, like the guys were really, really nice and made me feel like welcomed.
Good.
And the script I read was for Hinge.
Which is what? I did not
a
know
dating
what
app, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was just so funny because I kept hearing like casting directors want you to connect, with the script. And I'm like, okay, I do have a connection with Hinge. So I was able to read it with like some connection. So it was a lot of fun. They told me that I did really well. Everybody clapped for me. So
excellent.
And the one Pandora guy even remembered me today. So,
and if you can get up in front of a crowd of people like that and be critiqued in front of all those people, the sky's the limit for you, sweetie.
Yeah. And so you've just kind of dipped your toe into it this weekend. You've just kind of starting to explore some things in the voiceover world. Are you gravitating towards any specific genre? Animation, commercial, narration?
I am open to just about anything, but I am pretty interested in commercial.
Okay.
That will probably be my number one.
As it should be, because that's going to be your biggest moneymaker to get things established. And then you can set that foundation through that, and then start exploring what your passions are more.
Yes, funny you say that. So I think my passion may be animation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when I was in the class, I was kind of second guessing, like, maybe this sounds like a bit more difficult to just hop into, because like I have some on-camera experience like doing commercials, but animation just seems so different than commercial, and I'm like, maybe I should pause animation for a while.
It's a hot
and
genre.
just focus
There's such a
on
future,
commercial.
yeah.
Animation is one of the most prolific genres in the voiceover world because there's more and more animation nowadays because of all the streaming platforms and all the things they're doing on YouTube and different things like that. So there's a, it's not like it was 20 years ago when you just had a handful of networks that were doing animation. Now there's all these streaming platforms, so there's a lot more animation work. So don't give up on that. If you are considering going that route, you could totally do it. Make sure you got a passion for it, though. Make sure you're convicted. Make sure that's one of the things you strongly want to do. You might, down the road, you might go, oh, I think I might want to do audiobooks or, different things like that. I might want to start my own podcast,
Yeah, I do want to, consider the non-broadcast work. I think, and not,
make cash doing that.
Yeah, Sandy, I think was talking about. Yeah. So I don't want to throw that out the window. So, but yeah, I think I'm pretty passionate about animation.
Love it.
I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I watch cartoons in my free time sometimes. So
that's called research, yo.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Next steps. What are your next steps after the conference?
I understand that I need to focus on training. So I was told, someone was like, well, maybe, because I was interested. The way I met Bobby was I was trying to build my home studio. And so someone told me, maybe you should do more training instead of focusing on the equipment first. So I want to join some workout groups, do vocal warm-ups while I'm cleaning the house. Yeah, and just focusing more on my health. So because we are our own instrument, so I need to learn how to keep it up. So I think that'll be my focus this year, but also still learning about equipment. But I'm also really interested in the business side and understanding all the different aspects, so it can be
Well, I was telling Whitney she can do websites, and she actually did the graphic for our stand-up poster for the podcast.
Oh, you did that.
Yeah,
Nice work.
Yeah. And so voiceover career gets going.
Yeah, you can find areas around voiceover to make money around the business as you are developing your career. And so, Bobby, before we wrap up the Making Waves VO podcast with Whitney, you are her mentor. There's a lot of pressure on you. There's a lot of pressure on you. She's done the conference this weekend. We've heard her say what she wants to work on. What advice do you have for her, Bobby?
Well, first off, just hopefully absorbed all that information this weekend. And also the connections you've made this weekend are invaluable, because those are the people that you're not only getting their story and learning tips from them in the business, they could hire you as well in the future, or they can make referrals to agents. So take that all in and just keep your eyes and ears open and just take it all in. You're going to do fantastic.
I will.
Fantastic.
Definitely watch the replays
of all the sessions.
too.
Yeah, because you couldn't be 20 times in 1 hour.
Yeah.
20 times in 1 hour.
Yeah. I like to say that you and I
yeah. Whitney Hollins, thank you so much. Congratulations. And thank y'all for being here for the Making Waves VO podcast, House Party Edition. It's been another great year, Bobby. And what did you learn this weekend at VO Atlanta?
Oh my gosh.
That pink doesn't match your skin tone. And we're talking about Bobby's wig right now.
Exactly. I keep bringing this up to you, but I learned that this business is just growing and growing and growing, because all those new faces that are here this weekend, 1,000 attendees that, like I said before, a lot of them are newer talent like Whitney, and they are our future. And hopefully they're learning from all the veterans that have also been here and keeping our business thriving. Don't cheapen it, stand up to AI, and let's just keep this thing, keep it going as great as it has been.
That's great final words. Thank you, Bobby. The Making Waves VO podcast presented by Full Compass and fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jason Traver. Production assistance by Lacey Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.